Hello, welcome back to Mrs. Hewitt's Spelling at Home word study session. I've got another root word for you today, root morpheme. This is a bound morpheme. Can you remember what that means if something is a bound morpheme? Yep, that's right. It means it has to be attached to something else. It isn't a word in its own right. So today we're going to look at the morpheme cess. And this comes from the Latin cedere, meaning to go away or to withdraw. So that sense of ceding or conceding comes from that original root as well. Okay, so we've got words with cess in. I've chosen this because it's got one of our really important words that, again, lots of adults have trouble spelling. It is our word necessary. Okay, so that is our focus word that we are definitely going to be able to spell by the end of this session. The morpheme frame is pretty intense today. Okay, we've got lots and lots of different endings, so I'm going to try and make sure I get it up nice and close so that you can see it really well. We've got loads of different prefixes, loads of different pathways you can go, so just try and maybe pick one from each just so you've used an example, because there's no way you're going to get every single word today. I haven't got all of them. I've just tried to pick a few so we can talk about the meanings. So I'm going to put this up nice and close. Hopefully you can see that okay. Pause your video. All right, I know it was really quite small, but hopefully you've been able to see that okay. So I'm going to go down our prefixes and look at some of the words that you could have got here. So started with access, and with access you had a range of different endings that you could have had. So you had the verb endings, accesses, accessing, accessed, like I've done here with accessed, accessible as well, show if you're able to access something. The ac is an assimilation of the ad prefix, meaning to or towards. So if you think about being able to access something, it's actually going towards it and being able to get into it as opposed to going away from it. So we have got the towards going, and also accessories like you would wear, you could have as well. Okay, so it's all to do with that to bit at the start there. And then inaccessible, the in meaning not, so you can't access it, basically you can't get into it. Okay, so they are our words that start with the ac. We then have gone to the x, so the excessive and excessively. X meaning out or thoroughly. So the excessive is that nature, that notion of kind of being thoroughly away, or the a lot bit basically. So the excessive or the excess is the bit left over, isn't it? So if you say, oh, you know, I've filled my tub up and then I've discarded the excess, that's the bits that you've got left over. Okay, so the stuff that hasn't gone in. So we've got the excessively there. Right, this is our word. Look, necessary, ni, cess, ari. So only one C in necessary and two S's. Ni meaning not. So the necessary, so if you think of cess being going away from, if you're not going away from it, it's because you absolutely have to do it, and it is necessary. So it's that notion of not giving in and not giving up, is that kind of concept of something being necessary. So necessary is your really important word for today, and it is an array. Okay, necessary, describe something. I've also put in concession, so we've got the one starting with concess. Con is our prefix. Who can remember what con means as a prefix? Could be con or com or core. It is with, and actually if you go on to learn Spanish, the word con actually means with, like chili con carne is chili with meat. Con means with. There you go, a bit of Spanish there for you. So con does mean with or together. So with, so concession, we're taking away, with other things considered. If you say you're going to kind of have a concession, you're going to concede something, you're going to let something go. So it's that kind of with taking it away bit there. We've also got incessant. So in meaning not. If something is incessant, it doesn't stop. Okay, like the incessant noise, the incessant droning in the background is kind of a really good adjective to describe something that's going on and on and on. Her moaning was incessant. So that could be a word that you do get into your writing, incessant. But again, if you think cess is to go away or to concede or withdraw, and it's not, the attack was incessant, they weren't withdrawing, okay? We've got processing there. So and you can see here, I've put my little arrow because if we've got processes, we can't end up with 3 S's in a row. So we have to pop that E in there for our plural, don't we, for processes if we're talking about the processes of something. Now this word here is predecessor. Okay, so pre means before. Okay, and then the decessing is the D, and then so the thoroughly going. So the predecessor is somebody that comes before the person that then goes. Okay, so a bit like precedent as well comes. So preceding. So a predecessor. I'm trying to think of an example. Queen, whoever the king was before Queen Elizabeth, was her predecessor, the person that did it before her. Okay, so it's the coming before the person went away, basically. And then at the bottom, I've just popped on another one there, which is necessitate. So if you make something happen, you've got necessity and necessitate. So again, with that, the necessity, kind of the necessary root, necessity. Remember, we cross that Y off because we are adding the ATE. Okay, so we lose that Y, necessitate. If you necessitate something, you make it happen. Okay, make sure it happens. So loads and loads of words with cess. You must write necessary in your sentence, okay? Because I want you to learn that spelling. That is the spelling that you must learn. But apart from that, pick some of those other words. I hope you managed to build some really long words. I think perhaps maybe the longest word was predecessor, or you could have accessorizing. If you went down accessory and then eyes and then ing, accessorizing would have been a really long word as well if you were accessorizing yourself. Okay, that is it for today. I'll be back tomorrow with some more word study. So enjoy your sentences. I hope you liked that one and learn how to spell necessary. Bye.